Education is the cornerstone of individual and societal progress. Yet a concerning trend is emerging. A learning gap is widening between students who speak the language of instruction at home and those who do not. This gap represents a fundamental inequality in education. It limits opportunities for countless children worldwide. This issue is not new. However, recent data reveals a worrying trend. The gap has significantly increased over the past decade. This alarming trend demands our urgent attention. We must understand the factors contributing to this growing divide. Moreover, this gap goes beyond simple language proficiency. It signifies a broader challenge of inclusion and equity in education. When students struggle to understand the language of instruction, they cannot fully engage in the learning process. This can have long-term consequences, impacting their academic achievement and future prospects. Addressing this challenge requires a multifaceted approach. We must examine the systemic factors that contribute to this disparity. Furthermore, we must explore innovative solutions that promote inclusive learning environments for all students. The Global Education Monitoring (GEM) report provides stark evidence of this widening gap. Over the past decade, the difference in reading proficiency between students who speak the language of instruction at home and those who don't has grown from 12 to 18 percentage points. In mathematics, the gap has increased from 10 to 15 percentage points. These figures are not just statistics, they represent real children facing significant obstacles in their education. For example, in some countries, students who speak the language of instruction at home are more than 60% more likely to achieve reading proficiency than their peers who do not. This disparity in learning outcomes is unacceptable. We must acknowledge the urgency of this issue and work towards creating more equitable education systems. Every child deserves the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their linguistic background. Ignoring this issue will have far-reaching consequences. It will perpetuate cycles of poverty and inequality. We must act now to bridge this gap and ensure that all children have an equal chance to reach their full potential. Several factors have contributed to the widening language gap in education. One significant factor is the increasing digital disruption in education. While technology offers many opportunities for learning, it can also exacerbate existing inequalities. Students without access to digital resources or who lack digital literacy skills fall further behind. Social inequalities further compound this issue. Children from disadvantaged backgrounds often have limited access to early childhood education and quality language learning opportunities. This puts them at a significant disadvantage when they enter the formal education system. The recent pandemic has also played a role in widening the gap. School closures and the shift to remote learning disproportionately impacted students who face language barriers. They often lack the necessary support and resources to thrive in online learning environments. Addressing this complex issue requires a concerted effort from governments, educators, and communities. We must prioritize equitable access to technology, provide targeted support for students facing language barriers, and create inclusive learning environments that value linguistic diversity. Bridging the language gap in education is not just a moral imperative but also a social and economic necessity. When children from all linguistic backgrounds can fully participate in education, it benefits society as a whole. We must invest in inclusive education systems that value and support linguistic diversity. One crucial step is to provide specialized teacher training. Teachers need the skills and resources to effectively support students who are learning in a language other than their mother tongue. This includes understanding language acquisition processes, implementing culturally responsive teaching practices, and creating welcoming and inclusive classroom environments. Furthermore, we must recognize and value the linguistic assets that multilingual students bring to the classroom. Their diverse languages and cultures enrich the learning environment for everyone. By creating inclusive classrooms that celebrate multilingualism, we can foster a sense of belonging and empower all students to succeed. Addressing the language gap in education is a shared responsibility. It requires a collective commitment to equity and a belief in the potential of every child. By working together, we can create a world where all children, regardless of their linguistic background, have the opportunity to reach their full potential and contribute to a brighter future.